Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and we're here with another episode of Free Pattern Friday. Yay! It's Free Pattern Friday. You're going to find the PDF for my scrap basket flowers in our show notes below. And it's a big, beautiful block. It's when you're done. Now, as we're doing the sewing, I'm going to show you how to shortcut this particular FPP piecing on this if you want, but here is the block. Now, before we get into this any further, we should do our shout out. The Quilting Webmaster. I looked around for a first name. I didn't find one. So if you guys know the first name of that person, please let me know. Please let me know. Put it in the comments below. It looks like they're having a lot of fun over there in their channel. So go check them out. Give them some love and encouragement. Tell them Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore sent you. Also, Mini Monday is back with some changes. We're filming this September 1st. So Mini Monday is probably going to be running by the time we're doing this. But we're doing any block that is less than 12.5 inches unfinished, right? So we could be doing that from small piecing to foundation paper piecing. We could do English paper piecing, maybe some hand piecing. I'm not sure yet. I don't know. Some of you kind of like cringe when I talk about hand quilting or hand stitching, but we'll see what we can do for you. But yes, that's coming back, and we're hoping to have a lot of fun with that one. Also, the Zoom sew dates are the first Saturday of every month. They're also listed in our description box or show notes. It's 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time because I'm in Alberta, Canada. Making comments, share, like, subscribe, thumbs up, hit the bell, all that stuff. That helps our analytics. So it helps move our videos forward so we could give more people fun, free patterns and, share with them stuff like, small scrap basket or, scrap basket flowers, that kind of thing. We just have so much fun with this. We also have a Facebook group, and it's a very warm, welcoming community. We have so much fun in there. We do all the things that normal Facebook groups do, like show pictures, ask questions, all the rest of us, ask for advice. But we also have a virtual sewing room now, hosted under Discord. You go and ask the admins for an invite, and they put you in there, and you have a virtual sewing room date 24/7, because you never know who's going to show up in there. The community chats are also available there. Facebook is changing community chats. We're filming this September 1st, so we're not really sure what the community chats are going to be doing. Also, we have lots of fabric exchanges by country. We have some admins that organize, and wow, do they ever do a great job. I also speak for free to quilting guilds and quilting groups, and I am going to have a second presentation ready as of the end of December 2025, and we're hoping to, maybe if you guys want me to come speak to your group again, or a new group wants me to come speak, I'd be happy to do that and accommodate you in my schedule. We have lots of fun with those speaking engagements, and you can reach me through the About tab. There is a place where I have my email, or you can reach me through the Facebook group, and I'm telling you right now, I'm faster through the Facebook group than I am on email. Also, if you guys find shout outs and people that need a boost up and, like some help, and it's a quilting channel, quilting only, right? Quilting only channel, please let me know, and I'd be happy to add them to the very long list of quilting channels that I have to give shout outs to. It's kind of nice. I don't have a lot of time to spend on social media, so it's kind of nice that you guys are helping me out finding fun quilting channels to shout out. And last up is our next sew along on Wednesday is going to be Twinkle Twinkle after Quilt Bingo, like 3 or 4 episodes after Quilt Bingo is done. And we're just going to have a lot of fun with that. All the blocks are going to be less than 12.5 inches unfinished, right? And we're going to cover things like small piecing, the foundation paper piecing, English paper piecing, maybe some hand piecing, we're not sure yet, but we're going to have some fun with it. And I think that's it. Yes, I gave you the Quilting Webmaster as our shout out. Yes, so come on in, let's get to the sewing of scrap basket flowers. Okay, we're around the sewing machine, and our kittens are reaching under the door of the sewing room going like, help, help, help. So what you need for this is foundation paper piecing. You need paper scissors, and yes, these are my paper scissors. A tracing wheel to mark the back of your blocks with. Now, I don't know when you do the tracing wheel, it leaves little dents, and it helps you fold the paper, and you have it's an easier time to see how big you need something. Of course, you got your pattern. You're at a quarter ruler. The newer ones are much wider, but they have an advantage. They have a lip that you know, like you can push this right up close and get the perfect 1/4 inch. You can also, if you don't have a quarter ruler, you can just use a regular ruler because it has that 1/4 inch line. So I do have one handy here with me. And I think just thread and sharp needle. Oh my gosh, sharp needles are so helpful for this. And you want to change your stitch length to 25 to 30 stitches per inch, and I am not sure what that is on a modern machine. So let's just get started. Now, oops, I have picked some rather unusual fabric that's been sitting around in my stash for a while, and I thought, yes, we can play with this. This will be fun. And I'm just going to tape. Oh, by the way, tape is your friend. Tape's actually your best friend when it comes to foundation paper piecing. It's nice to have handy, but you don't need it every time you do foundation paper piecing, right? I'm just going to put just a pin in here, and I totally missed the fabric, so that's not going to hold anything. So now I wrote on here where I was going to piece. So you probably need a pen. You kind of have to think of where you're going to do, or what you're going to do on each piece. And I like writing, brown, or in this case it's a purpley brown with all the green and the peach colors I'm going to be using, and the green is in there. And I figured, okay, this is where I'm going to go. But yeah, and people forget, yes, you can use this and just have it up like this. Now, you can just write on there and make sure, and that way you know too where you're doing. Now, if you're doing a shortcut method, this is where people get messed up. If you're doing a shortcut method, you wouldn't have to do these little flip and stitch corners. And that's where I think people miss the opportunity here to do stuff. Now, I am putting the flip and stitch corners in because I want something to look rounded, right? But if you're just doing working out of your scrap box, you may not have all those little pieces that you need to make something look rounded. And if that's the case, don't worry about it. Just keep moving forward. So now I've also changed A1 and A2. I've changed the order, so I have a piece of fabric that's a little different. Now, the B1 is orange, and I'm going to take, I think it was this one. No, it was not that one. It was this one. There's 2 big pieces of orange here. So this goes in. Okay, that goes in like that. Yeah, I work on. If I was doing an entire quilt, right, I would do all of the A, and then all of the B, and then all of the C, and then all of the D. But because I'm only working with one block, I'm going to do all of them at once. Oops, I need this up a little higher. Just a tad higher. There we go. Okay. See, when you're doing this, now some people use Elmer School Glue, those glue sticks. You can use that too. That works really well. And now that background color, because I know it's a background color because I put background, BG is B2. I just want to get that. And like I say, you could leave out all the snowballing, right? But the snowballing helps the flower look more rounded and petal-like, right? So that's kind of where we're at. And I hold, before I go in, I hold and make a couple of extra cuts on the seam allowance, right? Just so, there we go. Just so that I can get this just right. Okay. And put a pin in. There we go. I just love this little doll fabric I found. I have no idea who gave it to me, but I just adore it. I just think it's so cute. Okay. So you have 4 pieces to this. And background. I also found some really fun Jen Kingwell fabric in my stash. And I'm like, ooh, this would be fun to use up. Because it's just fun. Her fabric is always fun. I love this stuff. And whenever I see it, I buy it. We don't see it often here in Canada. But, yeah, it is. It's what it is. So, okay. So, D1 and D2. So, this is background. Okay. Background. Okay. Okay, now I'm just going to pin this. Oops, there we go. Up here. And I'm going to put the little green piece on here. I had all my stuff pre-cut. I decided I would speed along a little bit by having all of this stuff pre-cut and pre-measured. Pre-measured out for you guys, so you didn't have to watch me sit there. Oh, is this even big enough? I decided it would be more advantageous for your time. And I hold it, and then we move forward, get to the other seam, hold it, and move forward again. Now, okay, so now we got the first one done. Now we do the second one. Let me get this out of the way. Okay. Yeah, when I do foundation paper piecing, my entire sewing room is a mess. Just such a mess. It's like, oh my gosh, what have you done? It looks like a bomb's gone off. But I have fun. You know, I think it's important to have fun. Okay, important to have fun every day. I think that's the biggest secret of staying young, is having fun every day. If you're not having fun, it's a very long existence. And, you know, mind you, some days I feel like I have too much fun, so that's okay too. Okay, so now we got the second one on. Let's get this other piece on. So, I'm just following the numbers now. This is not hard, and it does come together very quickly. Yeah, I pre-cut all of this stuff out, so just rough cutting, because I figured, okay, that way I'm not making you watch hours of me trying to figure out what I'm doing. And it does speed your process along. If you were doing a big quilt of this, like I say, all this shortcut, you could shortcut all of this by not doing the flip and stitch, and you would have a perfectly lovely quilt when you're done. Okay, so there we go. Let's get the next piece. Okay. Okay, and this comes up over here. Let's get this on here. Well, we're dealing with all the flip and stitch. I suppose you could do this pattern as well by just regular piecing, but there's something about, you could do this pattern with strings, right? Where you do, you know, all the, you know, whatever color it is, you do all of those strings first, and then you put this in. There's lots of little fun things you could do. You do it in poverty piecing or crumb blocks. You know, you can have lots of fun with this. Okay, there we go. There's one. There. And now the next one is here. There we go. And that was the bigger piece of green. I got string all over the place, and I have just started. Yeah, I just really enjoy the process of foundation paper piecing. Hang on, I just saw that flip. Okay. It is so trim pressed, and once you get into that rhythm, you can do lots very quickly, you know, and as long as everything's prepared ahead of time, right, like all of your pieces are pre-cut, or, you know, anything like that, you can get lots done. You can get lots done in an afternoon. But it's the prep work, right? Now, if you just want to play and not worry about any prep work, I mean, you could do that too. That's always, sometimes that's a very relaxing, fun day, you know, is when you're not really stressed out over anything and you're just in it to have some fun. There we go. There. Whew. Oops, where is that? Okay. Okay, now, there. So now we're going to do this and just move this along. There. Just like that. Oh, I'm right on the hinge. Hang on, hang on. There we go. There, and I'm not sure if that's the right one, but is it? Yes, it is. Okay, so now we're starting to get the whole, there we go. We're getting a good chunk, the bigger pieces are now coming into play, so that's going to create a bit of fun. There we go. And there, push that back. There, get rid of that. Get another big piece out of the way. Now, oops, what have I done? What? Ah, I'm being attacked by threads. Okay, so you want to put that one in, just like so. Okay, well, where's the little stem part here? You can see this coming together. And some of these pieces were just about halfway there already, so that's kind of cool. There, that can go into the crumbs because it's big, and this can go out here like so. There. I always have to laugh on these things. All of a sudden they'll come together and it's like, and they don't look like anything until they're trimmed. None of it does. It doesn't matter how many years I have been doing foundation paper piecing, they never look like anything grand until they're trimmed, right? So keep that in mind as you're going through this process. This probably won't look like much, right? Not for a bit anyways. Okay, there we go. There. Okay. There, now this is going along really well, actually. Okay, so now we're going to put the next piece on. Now this, okay, this goes like this, right? Oh dear. Okay, so how do I get that to go like that? There. Okay, so I'm gonna do, just hang on. Okay. There, that's a bigger piece. I'm going to make sure, I should probably go just a hair deeper. And I'm going to, am I going to trim both at the same time? Yes, I am. These are the bigger pieces, but they're such an odd angle that it's probably better if we go and do both of them at the same time. Okay? That would be better. Oh, come on. There we go. There. Now I changed the angle of this because I had measured this length. That's why. So that's why this is important, to make sure you have the right, the right angle on here. And I'm just going to quickly give this a quick trim, and you'll see how that fits on the other side. There. Okay, now, so this is going to fit just like so, right here. Oops, get this funny looking off. And we are going to just, right there. And hopefully, if I make a mistake, you guys know that I'm going to show you how to fix this, right? But sometimes you have to make an odd cut prior to. There. Now back with this little piece here. Now I go all the way out like this. Oh my goodness, see? That's the start of our leaves. And I'm just going to cut this off, trim this off. And I've got one piece done already. Yay! This sounds like a lot to get done in a day, doesn't it? Okay. So here we go. There. I'm just going to line that up just like so. And push this under. Hold it. Right. Couple of strokes up and down. Boof, we're done. There we go. And there. Now this goes to, oh, which one am I doing? Oh yeah, okay. We're supposed to do this one first. That's okay. There. So cute. So cute. Let me just lay that across, because I know what I'm working on, because I've marked the front. You can do this quicker if you kind of read the front before, and then you know which one to grab, right? Because I also put some of the dimensions on them, so that, like, all three the larger pieces are 4.5 inch wide, right? So I know I had to cut everything for my foundation paper pieces at 5 inch, right? Because that's important now that we have that extra bit of stuff going on here, right? Now, okay, I flip that over, and now the last piece of this here is green, and I get that. Oops, I'm right on the hinge again. Okay, let's get there. There we go. Take that up and flip it over. This is the green part of the leaf, and this is just going to fit like that, just like so. Okay. There we go. And the last part here. Let's push that forward. Just give it a quick little finger press. And you got stuff. Stuff is happening. Oh, yay. Finally. Okay. All right. There we go. No mistakes so far. Good for me. Okay. Okay. Now, this last little piece, I'm just going to finger press out, and I'm going to put it to the side. right? Because that's going through the middle at the bottom. It's part of our stem and our leaves, right? So I've got one piece off. And now I'm just going to move this forward, just like so. Get the other piece of orange on. And just give this a quick little trim. Now I've got all the big pieces on. And you can kind of see how this is all coming about, right? So here we go. And I think that's okay. Oh, now these two are finished. And I'm just wanting to check, make sure I've got good coverage everywhere. And what has happened is I have missed this corner, this outer corner. So I'm going to cut off, I'll probably cut off, I'll cut off this bit. I'll cut off this bit here, right? Just give it a quick trim because that corner is not got coverage, right? So I want everything to have coverage. So I'm just going to poverty piece in a section here, right now, right before your eyes. And when you're poverty piecing, you're posting from the other direction. You're piecing it from the other direction. Right now, there we go. There, get it under the needle. There we go. I'm just poverty piecing it. That's all. That's all we have to worry about now. Okay, we're making a poverty piece. And because it's the same fabric, the same color, in a busy quilt, you will never see it. Never, never, never. So now it doesn't matter which one of these you go for first. Okay. Here we go. And I'm just going to snowball my corners. Oops, there we go. Snowball all the corners. There's one. I'm just going to make sure it covers. Oh yes, it did. And it was pretty close on the match. It was pretty close. Not perfect, but pretty close. Okay, now, did I do the same thing here? Yes, I did. Oh. Okay, so we are obviously poverty piecing challenged today. That's okay. I'm going to put this in just like this. Okay, just like that. There we go. Oh wait, I should probably go like this. Wait, it needs to go, yeah, like that. That'll work. That will work. That will work. It'll be fine. There, just let me get this under. Just like so. There. Okay, there. Now. What happened here? You see how these add a quarter rulers, they lock, and it just gets that precision pieced thing. Okay, I think we're running a little long here, so I'm going to cut here and keep putting the other two snowballs here that are needed, and then we'll show you how to trim, make sure you know how to trim everything and sew it all together. Okay, so how I trim them, I put them up like this. Now, there's a stitch line on these patterns and a seam allowance line. What I do is I put my 1/4 inch, and there's a hinge right here. I have to kind of maneuver around. I put my 1/4 inch line right on my ruler, and I just trim. I trim the longest ones first because they're the most difficult. And I just line up that 1/4 inch mark on my ruler with the stitch line, not the seam allowance, the stitch line. I know that sounds odd, but you get a perfect 1/4 inch. So if your printing and anything else has been off, you know, like now you know how to correct it, right? Or if you've doubled the print pattern or the size, you know, now you can also correct your seam allowance. Okay, So, now the other thing I'm going to mention to you guys before we get further, this measures 10.5 inches tall because you have to tape it, right? So you want to make sure all that measuring is done prior to sewing. This is 10.5 by 4.5, right? This is a 2.5 by 4.5, and that goes here. This is 4.5 by 12.5, right? Now because you're piecing your pattern with tape, right? You gotta make sure you get that right measurement. And this one is 4.5 by 12, right? So now it doesn't look like it's gonna sew together, but oh, it's gotta go like this. Ha ha. It's gonna go like that. And what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna quickly run this under my foot and sew it together. Now I've got all 4 pieces lovely trimmed. Everything is just rocking well, and everything's going along. And I'm just going to put that under, and I'm going to stitch. Now I have not taken off my paper yet, right? So I have not taken off the paper, and I haven't done my stay stitching, and I'll show you what. I'm going to do all the assembly of this block first. Now, if you did not want this block to have all those rounded edges, right, you could eliminate the stitch and flips, right? Like these things here, and you just have a square here, you would have like squares here, and it would look cute too. I saw this, I was just like, was playing around with it, and every time I wanted something really, really simple, and every time I looked at it, I was just like, I want it rounded. I want those flipping stitches. I want it cute and adorable so people just go, aw, right? But anyways, you do what you want to go do best. You do what you do best, and I'll do what I do, right? So now, the place we have to match up is here, and it doesn't look like it's going to match because you've got this, wow, when you put your seam allowance in, it'll match. So what you want to do, it'll match up close enough for it to be good. Now, what you wish to do is this. You gotta get that down. There we go. And we're just going to assemble this, just like so. Now I took out the paper on the seam allowance underneath. And that seam allowance underneath where the stem meets the flower petals is flipped that way. There. So now I've got that. And I'm just going to pop this open and push away from the center. You want to push away from the center, right? For this one. And now you're going to put the other side. See, you've got that perfect line now, right? So don't worry, you've done it right. You've done it right. Yes, we had to do some poverty piecing. That was scary, but you know what? By the end of the day, nobody's going to see it because I'm going to show you how big it is by the time I get done this block. And that's something you kind of keep in mind too, right? Like, don't be hard on yourself because you had to poverty piece something. Our grandmothers did it, and they were very proud to do it, and they just used every little bit. Okay, now I'm going to flip that away from everything lines up. Oh my gosh, this is so gorgeous. So now I'm going to flip it like this, and we're going to do the stay stitching within the seam allowance. There we go. And we want our seams to stay like that. Did that foot fall off? No, it didn't. There we go. And the last seam. And you want to make sure you're sewing it so it presses out. And now, that is where you can take your paper off. You can take your paper off right now if you wanted to. But I just wanted you guys to see. So this gets pressed out, right? You're pressing out. This gets pressed up, right? So let's get to our ta-da moment, and I'll show you how cute this is. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so here is my scrap flower or scrap basket flowers, and it's just cute. Now guys, you could shortcut this and not have all these little you know, corners or whatever, and then just do it by straight up piecing, but this just makes the flower and the center and everything look rounded and just like really cute. You can play with some of your, you know, your fun fabric scraps you've got. Now that this is stay stitched, you can just start ripping apart off the back. I mean, this won't take very long at all. And, you know, everybody says, well, you know, once you're stay stitched, yeah, then take off your paper. Because what happens is this adds a lot of bulk, and I have block storage that's overflowing. So any block now that I'm doing with foundation paper piecing, I'm literally stripping the paper off at once I do my stay stitching. And it doesn't take long to do it all, right? I mean, I sit and I, you know, will put my feet up at night, and I can do quite a few of these. Another thing, grandchildren love doing this. They think, ooh, we get to do this. We get to be grandma's helper. Anyways, this comes off because you've got a sharp needle and your stitch length has been reduced, right? I'm just using printer paper from that my husband has in his printer, right? Like, I'm not doing anything, you know, like I'm not buying the onion skin paper or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just using printer paper. So a sharp needle, shorten your stitch length, both very important. I got a bit of green or stuff now still hanging in there, but I'll get it all off. It'll be fine. But see, I've got most of it stripped already, and you know, we've hardly talked. Yeah, but this is the perfect one to use up all those fun prints you've got, with all those crazy fun prints. And like I say, it didn't take all that long to do. I pre-cut a lot of my pieces, and there. Now, I think most of this, what's left here, most of it will fall off, but you know, just as giving it a good shake or two. But there, you know, 90% of it is done, and now it's just a matter of pulling off the little bits that stayed behind, and most of it's on the outside edge from your stay stitching. Now, you do your stay stitching because you don't want your block to distort, but I mean, other than that, once you got your stay stitching on, you're good to go. You're good to go. If you did this all by patchwork and nothing had funny slanted angles, you wouldn't even, and all of your corners, everything on the outside edge was done with fabric grain, you probably wouldn't even have to stay stitch, right? So, but once we've done this, we can do it safely. That's the thing. And you don't have to do all 4 pieces separately. You can do them all together. You sew them together, and then they come out. But anyways, I'll finish stripping this off later. You guys stay well and take care. I hope you're trying this, and I hope life is treating you very gently and very kindly. So you take care until we see each other again. Okay, bye. My husband and I would like to thank you for all of your support and watching our videos and sharing and liking. It has just been, you've put us on such an amazing journey, and we are having so much fun. I hope everything is going so well in your life, and you know, your 1/4 inch is perfect. Everything is working out for you. And we're just so happy to be part of your life, and you having, like I say, you're watching us. I was just so thrilled that you're doing that. So I want to say goodbye, and I want to thank you with all my heart. Okay? Take care. Bye.